All right, so let's make our way onto our mats and take a seat. I'll take my socks off. And finding a comfortable kind of space for your body to be. It might be seated, it could be laying on the back or leaning up against something. And starting to focus on the breath, bring the awareness, your attention into your body. Allowing the breath to move in and down through the nose, down the back of the throat, and as deep into the bottoms of the lungs as you can get it. And as you breathe out, let that breath empty all the way, squeezing it out of the lungs. Letting the diaphragm lift, the belly presses back. Notice if there's extra gripping in the hips, if the shoulders are a little bit closer towards the ears than perhaps they need to be. And stepping onto your mat into this space, and kind of finding a unity between what's going on the outside and what's going on the inside. Yeah, so as we start to link movement to our breath, we cultivate that focus and kind of inner wisdom, inner knowing, inner attention. The breath anchoring us in our bodies, to our movements, to the present moment. Let's take a few more deep breaths together. And if you'd like to, you can join me in breathing in through the nose and then letting it out through the mouth. And we'll do one more like that together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. We'll gently blink the eyes open, or you could keep them closed if you prefer. And again, like we did on our previous class, maybe switch the cross of the legs or switch the way that you're seated, just to mix it up for your brain a little bit. Let's inhale, reach both arms out wide up and over the head. And you're really reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Let those shoulders lift now. And as you exhale, we're gonna bend the elbows. Try and pull the elbows back behind you. Feel the shoulder blades pinch together. Nice, 2 more times like that. Inhale, we're reaching up. Exhale, elbows bending. Pull the shoulder blades together down the back. Nice, one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and bend. Nice. Inhale, let's reach up. Let's let the shoulders stay a little bit lower. And as you exhale, right hand towards the mat, left hand reaches up and over. Just a quick little side bend stretch. Maybe pushing into that right hand, anchoring the left sitting bone down. Inhale, we reach both arms up high towards the sky, feeling that lift from the tailbone through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, left hand comes down and right arm reaches up and over. Nice. Inhale through center. We'll land both hands down. And we're gonna come bringing the soles of the feet towards the mat. And then feet about mat width distance apart. So they're a little bit wide. And we're gonna anchor the left fingertips behind us. Left fingertips out towards the left edge of the mat, and right fingertips out towards the right edge. So you're just kind of in this upright, attentive seat. Taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're gonna reach the right fingertips towards the left toes. Inhale back through center. Exhale, left fingertips towards the right toes. And back through center. Nice. 2 more times like that. Following your breath. Last time, right to the left. Like little gentle twists. And left to right. Nice. Coming back through center, heel to the feet in so they're about in line with the hips. We're gonna bring the palms of the hands towards the mat, behind the shoulders, wrist behind the shoulders, fingertips pointing forward. They might turn out a little bit just to give a little bit more space for the shoulders. We're gonna press down strongly into the heels of the feet and the heels of the hands. As you inhale, start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Feel yourself reaching through your knees. As you keep pressing the mat away from you, try to lift your hips up to be level with the knees. Yeah, and I like to, you'll notice, rock back and forth a little bit. We'll take one more deep breath in, keep pressing into the feet, maybe lift the hips a little higher. Nice, exhale, we'll bring the hips down towards the mat. And just sit up tall, kind of come off the wrist, maybe turn the hands, palms face up, just a little counter stretch. Nice, and we'll do that one more time. So anchor the palms of the hands down onto the floor. On your inhale breath, press into the heels, press into the hands, lift the hips up and off the floor. And you're welcome to stay right here. If it feels okay on your neck, you can kind of rest your head into that space in between the shoulder blades. And again, maybe staying right here or in the first variation, or you can come into a reverse plank, which would be walking the feet out. Grounding through the heels, pointing through the toes, keeping those hips lifted high. We're all here for another deep breath. Nice, exhale, we're gonna land the hips down. If the knees are bent, just to go ahead and walk the feet out forward. Toes face up towards the ceiling. Find the sitting bones underneath you. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, we'll take that fold forward. Feeling the backs of the legs. Maybe the knees are a little soft. Maybe there's some air underneath them. Nice. We'll take one more deep breath. Inhale, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's walk the soles of the feet in. Let's walk the feet wide again one more time. Hands behind you just for a little support. And then we'll just drop the knees side to side. Nice. And then either rolling onto one hip or maybe crossing at the ankles. We're gonna meet on all fours, hands and knees. Centering yourself on your mat, pressing into the hands, reaching the thumbs in towards each other. And then pressing into the knees, landing the knees right underneath the hips. Tops of the feet can press down or toes can tuck under, entirely your choice, whichever feels more comfortable in the feet. Inhale, finding your cow pose. Belly drops down, tailbone and chest lift. Nice extension arch through the spine. And exhale, the opposite movement. The spine presses up as the tailbone and chin tuck under, flexing into your cat pose. Nice, one more time like that. Inhale, lifts the tailbone, lifts the heart, drops the belly down, extends the spine. And exhale, presses the mat away, spine lifts, tailbone, chin tuck. Nice. Let's inhale and come to neutral. We're gonna keep the knees and the hips as they are. We're gonna come down onto our forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders, and pressing the palms down onto the mat. Still keep those fingers nice and wide. Reach the thumbs out towards each other. You're really now pressing down through the entire forearm here. And just take a breath, start to orient yourself in this new shape. And we'll do one round of cat and cow. So as you inhale, spine flexes, tailbone lifts, chest won't lift as high. And as you exhale, extend through the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Nice. So we'll come into our neutral little forearm quadruped here. We're going to tuck those right toes under, and then we're going to press into those right toes and lift that right knee off the floor. You might need to let that right foot travel back a little bit. You might be off your mat, that's okay. You can go ahead and release yourself from the constraint of this rectangular piece of rubber. And then maybe a little pulse, a little press back into the elbows, shifting weight back into the back of that right leg. Nice. With your next inhale breath, please go ahead and keep pressing into the forearms. Lift that right heel up and off the floor, yeah? And then we're just gonna bend the knee, draw the heel towards your seat, and extend, reach the heel back behind you. Nice, 2 more times like that, bend. And extend, you should feel that in the hamstring, feel that in the quad. 1 more time, bend. Nice, and extend. Nice, hold that leg out long, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna bring your right toes to touch on the outside of your left foot. Maybe you look that way. Inhale, lift it up towards the ceiling. Exhale, open it out wide. You might be negotiating some furniture like me. Inhale back through center, just 1 more time. Exhale, let that foot cross behind the left leg. Inhale, lift it up. Nice. Exhale, it opens out wide to the right as much as you have room. And then we're gonna anchor down through that right foot, toes point forward. As much as you can, press the sole of the foot down into the mat. Start to press into the hands, lifting the elbows up and off the floor. Walk the hands back towards the knees. And then keep walking them back. Please bring them up towards your hips. Nice. Think about pressing your front hip points forward towards the top edge of your mat. As you inhale, we'll reach both arms up and over the head. We're balancing. And as you exhale, we're gonna land that right hand down along that right leg. Reach the left arm up and over. Nice. 1 more deep breath here. On your next inhale breath, we'll come back through center, reaching both hands up. And as you exhale, we're gonna land this left hand down underneath the left shoulder. Maybe it's up on a block. You could be up on fingertips, your fist, or palm down on the floor, reaching that right arm up towards the sky. Notice how we're in a side plank variation. And then keep pressing that left hip point towards the top of your mat. Chances are your hip wants to come into a little bit of a flexion, a little bit of a bend. See if you can find that more of an extension, more of a stretch. Nice. Take 1 more deep breath. As you exhale, let the right hand come down towards the floor. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, and then bring the right hand underneath, or right knee rather, right underneath your right hip. Nice. Sway side to side. You can stay right here. You could come through a few rounds of cat and cow, or you could start to walk the hands forward, drawing the chest down, coming into your puppy pose. Nice. Forehead could be down on the floor. You could be lifted up on a block underneath the sternum or the forehead. Stretching out the backs of the shoulders. Take 1 more deep breath. Nice. You're in your puppy pose, press into the hands, start to lift the shoulders, walk the hands back underneath, coming back onto all fours, and then we're gonna come back down into the forearm posture. So elbows come down, they're underneath the shoulders. You're pressing down through the whole forearm into the palms, all the way out into the fingertips, yeah? Super active in the upper body here. Nice. We'll start to extend that left leg back, tucking the toes under, and maybe that little rock forward and back. Just saying hello to the back of your left leg, through the calf, the hamstring, wherever you feel this. Nice. And then still pressing down strongly into the elbows and that right knee. As you inhale, please start to lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. And you're really reaching through the heel, extending that leg back as far behind you as you can, lifting through that inner left thigh, yeah? On your next breath in, we're gonna bend that left knee, pull the heel in towards the seat as close as you can. Feel the hamstring contract. And then press the heel away as you straighten the leg. Nice, 2 more times like that. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. 1 more time, inhale, bend. Nice, exhale, extend. Take a deep breath right here. On your next inhale breath, this left foot is gonna cross behind the right leg towards the right edge of your mat, as far over as you can get it. Maybe you look in that direction. Nice, inhale back up through center, lift it up. And exhale as far out towards the left as you can get. Nice. Inhale, lift it up. Send it all the way over towards the right. Inhale, last one. Lift up through center, land it down as close to in line with that right knee as you can, and then press down into that foot as much as you can. Toes point straight forward. Start to press into the hands to lift the elbows up and off the floor, and walk the elbows or the hands back underneath the shoulders. Nice. Press down into the left foot, the right knee. Start to bring the hands up towards the hips. Allow that right hip to come forward a little bit more. Inhale, reach both arms up. And as you exhale, left hand travels down that left leg, right arm reaches up and over this time. Nice side bend, stretch, gate pose. Inhale, we'll come back through center. The right hand is coming down this time, underneath that right shoulder, onto a block, maybe your fingertips, maybe a fist, or your palm. Left hand reaches strongly up towards the ceiling as you keep pressing the hip points forward in this side plank variation. Take one more deep breath. Nice. As you exhale, let the left hand circle down towards the mat. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders, and then bend that left knee, bring it back underneath the hips. Again, swaying side to side, cat and cow. Maybe those barrel rolls with the ribs, whatever feels good in your body. Nice. And then let's all tuck the toes. Our knees are underneath our hips. We'll walk the hands forward, shifting the shoulders to stack on top of the wrists. Nice, hips come forward of the knees. And the tailbone reaches back as your bottom ribs pull towards the front of your hips. Nice, feel that tension wrapping around the core. As you press the mat away from you, separating the shoulder blades just a hair. Yeah, take one more deep breath in. As you exhale slowly in one strong line, we're gonna lower all the way down onto the belly. Nice, untuck the toes, press into the tops of the feet. Let's go ahead and widen our hands off the edges of our mat. Come up onto our fingertips, point our elbows up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, we're gonna press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet. Start to roll your spine up and off the floor, letting the sternum shine as far forward as you can. Nice, exhale, roll it down. 2 more times like that. Inhale, rolling the spine up. Big wide arm cobra here. Exhale, roll it down. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale and lower. Nice. Let's walk our hands back underneath our shoulders. Press down into the palms, point the elbows up towards the ceiling. Let's tuck our toes under, and we're gonna press our way back, pausing in a kind of variation of child's pose, hips all the way back towards the heels as close as you can get. Ground down into the palms, and with the toes tucked under on your next exhale breath, really press into the hands, start to press into the feet, start to lift the knees up and off the mat, coming into your downward facing dog. Nice, so let's walk out. Our dog, pedaling out the feet, maybe shifting side to side. Little rotation through the spine. I almost kind of drop one knee towards my opposite toes. And then coming into stillness. Feet about hip width distance apart. The heels may not touch, the knees may stay bent. As the tailbone reaches up towards the ceiling, keep pressing into that space between your thumb and your first finger. The heels might not touch, but they're still reaching down towards the mat. There's energy in the calves and the shins. Nice, we'll take one more deep breath. And exhale, let it out. On your next inhale breath, please lift the heels high, bend deeply into the knees. Your seat will come towards your heels as you look forward towards your hands. Kind of crouched in this little cannonball position, yeah? Start to walk the feet forward to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Your hands will slowly peel up and off the floor. Nice. At the top of your mat, heels underneath the hips. Let's inhale, halfway lift, please. Hands can be on the shins. They might reach the floor. They might be on blocks. Think about pressing the heads of your thigh bones back towards the back edge of your mat. Tailbone reaches out in that same direction as the crown of your head reaches forward. Nice. On your next exhale breath, let's go ahead and fold forward over the legs. You can soften the knees if the hamstrings are really feeling it today. Nice. One more time, let's inhale, lift halfway up. And let's exhale and fold. Nice. On your next inhale breath, we'll roll ourselves up to standing, grounding into the heels, bending the knees, tucking the tailbone, rolling ourselves all the way up. Nice. Flip the shoulders up towards the ears, and then circle them back and down. Shift your weight kind of forward and back in the feet. Maybe rocking up onto the toes, back onto the heels. Really arriving in this very present stance in the feet. And then we'll press down into the heels. Balls of the feet and toes touch down lightly on the mat to balance. You roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then peel them back and down and away. Palms face forward. Inhale, reach both arms up and over the head. As you exhale, we'll hinge from the hips, bowing forward, coming into that deep forward fold. Inhale, we'll lift halfway up. Think about lengthening through the spine, reaching back through the tailbone, forward through the crown of the head. And as we exhale and fold, bend the knees deeply, plant the palms down. Start to bring more weight into the hands and then start to walk the feet back, finding your plank pose. Maybe the knees are lifted, maybe they're lowered down onto the floor. We're all pressing strongly into the hands. We're doming a little bit into the upper back, separating the shoulder blades a little bit. Tailbone reaches back towards the heels as the ribs knit down and in. Okay, so we'll take one more deep breath. As we exhale from wherever you are, we're going to lower all the way down onto the belly. Untuck the toes. Inhale, curls the chest forward and up, coming into cobra pose. And exhale, rolls the chest down. Nice. Let's tuck the toes, pressing up onto the knees, hips back towards your heels. Nice. And with that long spine, press into the hands, press into the feet. Start to lift the knees up and off the mat, finding downwards facing dog. Nice. 3 deep breaths here. Two more. Nice. On your next inhale breath, lift the heels high, bend deeply into the knees, look forward towards the thumbs. And as you exhale, start to walk the feet forward, letting the hands peel up as the feet get closer towards the top of your mat. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift, we'll lengthen. And as we exhale, fold. Inhale, let's roll ourselves up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Nice. At the top of our stance, shoulders roll up, back, and down, palms face forward. Weight shifts back and towards the heels. Nice. Toes are there to balance you. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Come all the way down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend deeply into the knees, enough to plant the palms down. Rock the weight forward into the hands. Start to step the feet back. Your plank pose. Nice. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, we're lowering all the way down onto the belly. One strong line. Nice. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the chest forward and up, pressing into the hands. You can stay right here in cobra pose, or you could start to press into the hands so firmly that you straighten the arms, lifting the thighs. Nice. As we exhale, however you'd like to get back to it, remaining in downwards facing dog. Nice. Let's take a deep breath in. Full breath out. Nice. On your next inhale breath, please bring the knees down to the mat about as wide apart as the edges of your mat. Bring the big toes to touch. Press the hips back towards the heels. Hands can crawl forward as the forehead comes down onto the floor. Just taking a moment in child's pose here. Nice. And when you're ready, we'll start to lift the head, pressing into the hands, tucking the toes, lifting the knees, reaching the tailbone towards the ceiling, coming back to downward facing dog. Nice. Let's step the feet together towards that midline of your mat. And as you inhale, root down into the left foot, reach the right foot up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, we're gonna bend the right knee, draw the knee in towards the chest strongly. And then we're gonna step the right foot towards the top of your mat. Maybe it takes you a few steps to get there. Maybe you use that right hand to guide the foot forward, yeah? Nice. Feet are on opposite tracks here. We're gonna bring the left knee down towards the mat. Maybe you have blocks or books underneath the hands to support you here. And we're pressing down into that right heel and into the left knee. Let the hips come somewhat forward and down. We're not dropping into those joints. We're kind of encouraging that stretch forward. Left toes can be tucked under, or you could untuck them. Again, that's a personal preference. Hands can stay down on something to support you if you'd like, or maybe you're reaching them forward and up towards the ceiling. Nice. As the hands come up and off the floor, notice how the legs have to work a little bit harder to keep you stable, keep you centered, keep you grounded. Okay, so I'll take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, if your hands are lifted, please bring them down towards the mat, either side of that right foot. They can come all the way down or they can come up onto your props. As you take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're gonna press into that right heel, straighten out that right leg, coming into our half splits. Right toes lift up towards the face, and then we wiggle that right heel forward. We wanna keep the hips stacked on top of this left knee. We have that nice 90-degree angle. And then the right toes lift up towards this ceiling. You might be feeling some beautifully exquisite sensation right here, or you might have some space to start to fold forward. You're hinging from the hip crease again. So think about bringing your chest down towards your toes. Just don't worry about that too much because it's not actually physically possible as far as I know. So that's the intention with that stretch, right? We're not trying to round through the spine so much. We're trying to keep the spine long, the hips pressing back so that we access that full length of the hamstring. And then we're breathing. Saying hello to the backs of our legs. Okay. Take one more breath. Really press down and back into that right heel. Nice. If you're folded as you inhale, we're just going to come a little bit out of that fold. And then we'll all drag that right heel back and then rebend that right knee coming back towards that lunge. We're going to tuck the back toes and lift that back knee up. And then we're going to pivot to face the left side of your mat. So maybe you bring hands on the inside of that right foot. We're going to turn the right toes to face kind of the top left corner of the mat as we come onto that left heel. Yeah, so now we're in a side lunge. So the left heel is pressing down as the toes lift up towards the ceiling. Your hands might be on something a little bit higher off the ground to balance you. And notice my right heel is lifted way high up off the floor. That's totally fine. You also might be a little bit higher. That's totally fine. Yes, we're just looking for a space where we can breathe, where we feel a little bit of a stretch on that inner left thigh. If you're feeling like you might have this balancing posture a little bit under control, you could maybe start to lift one hand and then the other. Maybe you're comfortable bringing both hands up towards heart center. Nice. And then we'll all bring hands to the floor in front of us. Nice. Let's walk the hands back towards the front edge of our mat. We're going to come back into that lunge, right foot forward, left heel lifting up. Press down into the hands, step the right foot back to meet the left foot. Your choice here, if you'd like to move through that vinyasa transition, that lowering down, or if you'd rather skip it, take a break in child's pose, or meet in downwards facing dog. As we all come back towards downwards facing dog, we'll step our feet together at the midline of the mat, ground down through the right foot this time. As you inhale, that left heel lifts up towards the ceiling. Nice, deep breath in. Ooh, exhale, knee in towards the chest. Nice, make a little bit of space, maybe come up onto those left fingertips, step that left foot through, maybe a couple steps, maybe the left hand getting you all the way there. Nice, feet on opposite tracks as we drop that right knee down towards the floor. Start to lift the chest, coming up maybe onto fingertips, maybe up onto a stack of books, a table, blocks. Nice. As we press down into that left heel, the hips come forward and down, feeling a stretch on the front of that right thigh. Back toes can tuck or they can untuck. Hands can stay down or they can reach up towards the ceiling. Nice. And it's engagement in the legs that's keeping us balanced here. Feel the outer hips hugging in towards each other. Nice. As that right hip flexor stretches. Nice. And if you're reaching up, think about lifting through the chest, through the sternum. Nice. As you exhale, if hands are lifted, we'll meet down, hands on either side of that left foot. Start to press into that left heel, straightening out the left leg as the hip shift back. Nice. And then when the hips are stacked over that right knee, lift the left toes up and wiggle that heel forward. Feel the tailbone reaching back, almost like you're trying to tip the pelvis forward. And that might offer you the sensation that you're looking for, that stretch, increasing flexibility in the back of the left leg. Or maybe you have some space to even find a little bit of a fold, a little bit of a hip hinge. Nice, and we're still pressing down into that left heel. Notice if your foot has kind of sickled in, if the pinky toe edge of your foot is farther forward than the big toe edge, can you press equally out through the foot? What does that teach you about the backs of your calves? Nice, we'll take one more deep breath. If you're folded forward as you inhale, just come out of that fold a little bit. We'll start to bend back into that left knee, drawing the left foot a little bit back towards our right knee. Nice. Then we'll tuck the right toes, lift the right knee up. And then we're gonna pivot. So you're gonna face the right edge of your mat. Bring both hands on the inside of the left foot. Left toes face the top right corner of your mat as you turn onto the right heel and then let the hips drop down. Coming into a side lunge on your left side. And again, hands underneath you to support is a wonderful way to be. Trying to sit up as tall as possible, maybe bringing hands up onto something higher so you don't have to reach down towards the floor. Or if you feel comfortable, if you feel steady, bring your gaze onto something that's not moving. Maybe hands can come to heart as you balance here on these 2 points. Looking for that kind of deeper inner right thigh stretch. And always, always, always finding the breath. Nice. Let's land the hands down inside of that left foot. We're going to pivot back to face the front of the mat. Then we'll come onto the inside of the right foot as we turn. Nice. Both hands on either side, of the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right foot. Again, your choice. If you'd like to throw in the vinyasa, maybe a couple of push-ups, and we'll all meet back in downwards facing dog. Nice. Let's inhale, lift the heels high, bend the knees, look forward towards your thumbs. As you exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Just inhale, we'll lift halfway up. And exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale, let's roll ourselves up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Nice. Shoulders up towards the ears, and then back and down. We'll bring our hands to our hips, and then we're just gonna step, turn, well, I guess to face me, but I'm gonna turn towards my left. We're gonna take a nice wide stance, and we're gonna turn our toes out, heels in. Heels are wider than the hips, yeah? We can bring our hands to our hips to start. And as you exhale, we're gonna bend the knees, pointing the knees over the toes, letting the tailbone drop straight down towards the floor. So coming into a goddess pose, or in some traditions, this is called horse stance. I don't really know why. I feel like goddess is a lot more flattering, but that's just me. Maybe rocking it side to side. Okay, so maybe sitting a little bit lower as your body starts to awaken to what you're asking it to do. Hands can stay on hips. They could come to heart center. Nice. If you'd like to come into kind of traditional fullest expression, the elbows come in line with the shoulders, 90-degree angles with the forearms and then the wrists. Nice. One more deep breath. On your next inhale breath, press strongly into the feet, start to straighten out the legs, reach both arms up towards the ceiling, maybe look up towards your fingertips. As you exhale, we'll sit back down, goddess pose, any variation with the arms. Nice. 2 more times like that. Inhale, press into the feet, reach up tall. Exhale, sit down. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale as we sit down. Let's bring hands to the thighs. You'll kind of turn your fingers in, I guess, towards your inner thighs, really resting your upper body onto the legs. Take a breath in, a little bit of a hinge forward in the torso, and as you exhale, we'll drop this right shoulder down, turn and twist over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center. Strong and steady, exhale, twisting, left shoulder drops down, looking right. Nice, inhale through center. As you exhale, 2 movements, we're gonna start to straighten the legs to fold forward. And then come up onto the balls of the feet, turn the heels out, the toes slightly in this time. Nice, we'll take a breath in our half lift, our lengthened spine. And as we exhale, deep crease in the hips, brings us down into a forward fold. Maybe shake the head, yes and no. Maybe you're finding opposite elbows feels nice here. You could also interlace the hands at the low back, maybe extend the elbows, and then let the hands drop forward and down. Pressing strongly into the feet to keep you stable, to keep you grounded and upright. Nice. Wherever the hands are, let's all bring them down towards the mat, walk them forward underneath the face. Nice, press down into the feet, start to squeeze the heels in towards each other, feel the inner thighs light up. Hands travel up towards the hips, press into the feet harder, lift the torso. Ooh, nice job. Let's start to heel toe the feet in. Bringing them underneath our hips. Then we'll come back to the top of our mat. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift, last one. Exhale, bend the knees deeply, plant the palms, step the feet back, any variation of plank pose. If you'd like to throw in one final vinyasa lowering down, you're welcome to. If you'd rather skip it, we will meet you in child's pose. Knees to the mat, hips towards the heels. Hands reach forward, and then if it feels all right on the shoulders, I invite you to turn the palms to face up. Let the elbows relax down towards the floor. Let the breath slow down. The heart rate slows down. Bringing the palms down towards the floor, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, supporting ourselves up into a kneeling posture. And then we're gonna tuck our toes under, including the little pinky toes. And take a few breaths here, stretching into the bottoms of the feet, the backs of the toes. Yes, the bottoms of the toes. Really great for healthy feet, healthy toe joints. Also really great to remind ourselves that discomfort is temporary, that we can do anything as long as we can breathe. Okay, so let's walk the hands forward. Ooh, come off the feet. Just press the tops of the feet down, little counter stretch. And then we'll shift the heels off to one side of the mat. Sit down on your seat, swing the legs around in front of you. And let's bring the right sole of the right foot in towards the left thigh. So we're bending at that right knee, extending the left leg out. It's not going to come straight forward. It's going to be a little bit open. Yeah. Nice. Finding your sitting bones underneath you. You're going to turn your shoulders to face over that left foot as much as you can. So a little twist in the spine. We'll take a deep breath in right here. And then as you exhale, we'll fold forward any amount. And then I like to bring my right hand to the outside of my left leg, just to help keep the chest square, the shoulders level. And the left hand I bring out a little bit wider. It's like a little push down to find that extra stretch without too much strain for the low back. You inhale, we'll start to lift the torso up. We'll extend that right leg out towards the side. This time we are going to go as wide as we can. Maybe a little scoot forward to find those sitting bones. Maybe you're staying right here, feeling that nice sensation on the inner thighs. If you have a little bit more space, maybe the hands are coming forward. Maybe the forearms are on the ground. Maybe eventually in this lifetime or the next, the chest will come down. And as you fold forward, if you are folding forward, try and keep the knees and the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Nice. Nice, and then sitting up tall, if you folded any amount, we'll bend into that left knee, pull the sole of the left foot in, bring the right foot a little bit more in line with the hip, just closing that gap a little bit. Right toes flex up towards the ceiling, turning at the torso to square the shoulders over the leg. Taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, hinging forward. And again, this time it would be the left hand to the outside of the right leg. The right hand, I just bring a little bit wider behind that right hip for just a little bit more leverage, a little gentler expression into that deeper fold. Inhale, let's lift the torso up. Bringing the soles of the feet to the outside edges of the mat, knees up towards the ceiling. Again, hands behind you just to support your torso here, and then we'll drop the knees side to side. And then pressing down into the feet, pointing the knees up towards the ceiling, option to reach the hands forward. And as you exhale, making sure you have room behind you, start to come all the way down onto the back. Maybe envisioning each one of your vertebrae as a suction cup, trying to press each suction cup down individually onto the floor. As the back of the head rests down, let's hug both knees in towards the chest. Hands on the shins and just circle the ankles out in one direction. Nice, and then switch directions. Then we'll circle out through the hips, so drawing the knees around in one direction. And then switch. And coming into a twist. Let's reach the right arm out towards the right side of the room. Option obviously always to bend the elbow and goalpost that arm, shorten the lever there. And let both knees fall towards the left side of your mat. Try and keep that right shoulder as heavy as you can. If it's really lifting up off the floor and that's uncomfortable, you can move your knees away from your chest. That'll make that rotation a little lighter, maybe allow that shoulder to come down a little bit closer. And as our bodies slow, as my speaking slows, and you keep your awareness, your attention on your mat, on your breath, in your body. This is the practice. So draw the knees back in towards the chest. And switching sides, left arm extends out long, knees fall towards the right. So I'll bring the knees back in towards the chest, resting on the back body. And as you exhale, extend the legs long, the arms long. Let the heels find the edges of your mat as the feet flop out and open. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades tucked in and under, resting lightly on the back of the head. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and then let it out through the mouth. Surrendering your body down to the gravity of the earth. Notice how completely and fully supported you are here. Following your own breath in silence for a few moments. You're welcome to stay just as you are, continuing this pause, this rest. And if you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose and a full breath out through the nose. Maybe start to invite movement back, moving fingers and toes, circling wrists and ankles, turning the head side to side. Draw the knees in towards the chest and then roll onto one side of your body, allowing your head to rest on the bottom arm. And starting to make your way up into a comfortable seat, you can roll forward onto the top hand, press yourself up. Moving with the eyes closed or closing them as you arrive into this space. If you like to, pressing the hands together up at the middle of your chest, your sternum, your heart center. This is Anjali Mudra, the ancient gesture of gratitude. May you feel grateful for the opportunity to be here on your mats this afternoon. Feel grateful for the strong body that you have, the ability to be present in your breath, and to move together as a community, even though we are apart. We have found a way to be together. Thank you so much for sharing this part of your day with me. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.